Hello, it's Jim Hutchins for the Jerusalem Connection Truth Report for this April 5th, 2017. Let me ask you a question. What do you think is the strongest argument in favor of Israel living, occupying, being in the land where they are? Would you say it's the Balfour Declaration? It was given in 1917 by the British government. Celebrate today the 100th anniversary of that. Would it be the San Remo resolutions after the First World War, the 1920s? Would it be the UN resolution, 1947? What's the strongest argument for their being in the land today? Well, there's a statement this past week by the Israel's communication minister that was spot on. And I would love to hear Israel's leaders refer to this more often, because this is their strongest argument. This is what he said. Israel's communications minister, Zaki Hanegbi. He said, defense is important. Security is important. But the most important thing is the moral claim that Israel has. Not the Palestinians, not the Arabs, but the moral claim that Israel has. We're committed to go forward with living in our ancient land that was given us not by Google, not by Wikipedia, but by the Bible, by the God of the Bible. Now that is an unanswerable argument. And the Arabs and the Palestinians go apoplectic when this argument is cited, because there's no answer to it. Hear the word of God. Genesis chapter 15, 18 through 20. On that day, Yahweh made a covenant with Abram, and he said, to your descendants, not to the descendants of Ishmael or Esau, but to your descendants I give this land from the Wadi of Egypt to the great river, the Euphrates. And he lists a whole group of people that are going to be displaced, replaced. The Kenites, the Kenizzites, the Cadmonites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Rephaites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Girgashites, and the Jebusites. Most of those are extinct today. But they are to be replaced, God says. And then in chapter 17, verses 7, 8, and 8, Yahweh says this, I, Yahweh, will establish my covenant as an everlasting, never-ending, eternal covenant between me and you and your descendants after you for the generations to come, to be your God and the God of your descendants after you. The whole land of Canaan, where you now reside as a foreigner, I will give as an everlasting possession to you and your descendants after you, and I will be their God. Psalm 105, verses 6 through 11. He, that is Yahweh, he remembers his covenant forever, the promise he made for 1,000 generations, the covenant he made with Abraham, the oath he swore to Isaac, he confirmed to Jacob as a decree. These are not Arabs, these are not Palestinians. These are the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. To Israel as an everlasting covenant. To you I give the land of Canaan as the portion you will inherit. The strongest argument that the Israelis have for their being in the land is God's covenant decree. Those promises that were given in the Bible are as valid today as the day that they were given. They are eternal. They're everlasting. And regardless of what the UN says today with regard to Palestinian legitimacy, they are not legitimate according to the Scriptures, according to the covenant promises of God. God's promise of the land to the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is an everlasting promise. And that's the truth.